Yes, man.
It's a playoff
Friday. That was a playoff bendy.
Bendy.
We're feeling good, guys. The stage is set. I know that we were talking before the show. We got a decent amount to talk about, but we also want to vet everyone's question in the chat. So I'm just going to start this episode off by saying, Friday mailbag edition. Send in all the questions towards Greg and Marcus. I will throw them on the screen, and we will answer as many as we can. But we will definitely talk about the swapping of the starting pitchers. Yamamoto and Flaherty have officially been swapped. Yamamoto will be starting game 1, Flaherty game 2 on Sunday. So, we'll give our insight on that as best as possible. But before we do, just want to remind everyone, here at the Blue Review, we are presented by LAX, and our friends at Los Angeles International Airport are changing the travel experience, reducing traffic, saving guest time. More info at flylax.com/transforminglax. So let's just get right into this, guys. Actually, before we do any of the talk about pitching, why don't we start off with our series predictions? Marcus, I know that we usually do this, before big series, and this is the biggest of them all.
It is. It is the biggest of the year to date, for sure. Look, this team is coming in. Look, they've had the few days off. It wasn't very long, so maybe that's a blessing, too. It wasn't that long, but they have a few days off to get the pitching staff in order. I know we'll talk about the swap. They're hitting the ball well. Ohtani's been, which, by the way, shout out to the guys at RotoWare.
Yeah, look at that.
The Ohtani 50-50 shirt that I'm rocking today.
It's a nice shirt. I like
thanks.
that.
But, they're hitting the ball well. Hopefully the pitching comes together. The bullpen's been great. I'm going to say Dodgers in 4.
Dodgers in 4. How does that series work out? Where are the wins? Where are the losses?
I think they get game 1. I think they lose a nail biter in game 2, and then they win 3 and 4 to move on to the LCS.
Okay, I'm very, very close to you. I'm just a little bit. I also have the Dodgers in 4, which kind of scares me that we are picking the same thing. But I think they win games 1 and 2. I think that Walker Buehler in game 3 pitches a good game. However, they do lose that one, and they end up winning game 4 in a bullpen Landon Knack type setting down in San Diego and just shoving it in all those Padres faces.
By the way,
they did it to us 2 years ago. We're doing it to them this year.
Did you see? By the way, they have limited who can buy tickets in San Diego for this thing.
And it's not the first time. I know that they did that also 2 years ago. Yeah.
Do they not realize that secondary markets still exist? Like StubHub is a thing still. They're not aware of that.
They're gonna see the way they're doing that so they can kind of stop Pantone 294 to just completely taking over that place, which I get and I kind of respect it at the same time, but it's not going to change anything. Dodger fans are going to get in there. It's just going to happen. Parker, series prediction. What you got?
Going with the sweep, baby.
Ooh. Going with the sweep. Look at
throwing everything out of the way. We're just all in. I see the chat also seeing it with the sweep, and I agree with y'all. I just think that honestly, Dodgers are the better team, and I know that the pitching has been an issue this whole time, but I believe that Flaherty will throw until his arm will fall off for this Dodgers team. So I don't expect that he's going to falter. And then Yamamoto, there's a reason also that they might have started him for game 1. Where it may lie with rest and everything, I also think that it's because he's got the best stuff on this entire team. So in terms of wanting to shake the Padres and make them a little bit nervous at the plate, I think Yamamoto's that guy. And we'll see. Game 3, I just say they get lucky and score 10 runs.
Wow. All right.
Let me go over this. Marcus, you went with Dodgers in 4, right?
4. Dodgers in 4, yeah.
And Greg,
Dodgers
you also had Dodgers in 4?
Dodgers in 4, and Parker has Dodgers in 3. All right, I like it. So
I love it.
Weird that the Blue Review, a show about the Dodgers, is all picking the Dodgers to win the series. That's just completely shocking to me. On all
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
All right, so put your series predictions in the chat too. I see Jasmeet says Dodgers in 5, but I would like to see everybody else put their series predictions in the chat. Maybe we can throw a couple of them up on the screen as well. But all right, Marcus, you wanted to talk about it, so let's talk about it. Yeah. They made a switch. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is pitching on Saturday in game 1 and Jack Flaherty in game 2 on Sunday and did the swap. So do you like the move, and why do you think they made the move?
I don't have a problem with the move. I know that we have spent the last few weeks sort of assuming that it was going to be Flaherty in game 1 and Yamamoto in game 2, but really there was no reason that it couldn't be the other way. It's not as though, look, if it were Glasnow, you knew Glasnow was getting game 1. There was no question about that. But when Glass now was out of the picture, I think it really did become more of a question. I think we just all assumed it was going to go one way. I get it. I know the idea of all season long has been to keep him on a similar schedule to what he had in Japan, which is to pitch every 6th day. And I was sort of curious as to how they were going to make that happen in a playoff situation. It's a little bit harder. Now it helps to have, those off days built in there. It's funny to have a travel day for, a 3-hour drive. But whatever, we'll deal with it. So no, this does keep him on that 6-day schedule. So if it comes to a game 5, which apparently none of us believe it will, but if it comes to a game 5 situation, then he's ready to go again. Although, I mean, you know this, Greg, if it comes to a game 5, it turns into Johnny Holstaff, everybody is going to be available. So it's Yamamoto, it's Flaherty, it's whoever they haven't burned in the bullpen yet. So, I don't have an issue with it. Now it just is on Yamamoto to come out and set the tone in game 1 and get this team off to a good start.
Yeah, we need Yamamoto to shove in game 1 and just kind of show why the reason he got 300,000.
300,000? That would have been a bargain.
That sounds wrong. He's got $300 million because why he deserves to be the highest paid pitcher in all of baseball. That's just kind of what it has to be. So he has to show 300,000. Where am I going with my head this morning? But either way, I really like the move. I understand what they're trying to do with it too. And then as we're talking about, it's so that he can pitch if there is a game 5. That he can pitch in it, and also Flaherty can pitch on it after only having 4 days rest going from Sunday to Friday, which I like it. If you can have your top 2 pitchers ready to go in that last series, it makes a massive, massive difference. I mean, the Padres get kind of the same thing. The fact that they didn't go to game 3 changed it for them so that they didn't have to pitch Dylan Cease yesterday, which I was really, really, really hoping.
Would have loved it.
Just if you do that, then you don't even see Dylan Cease until game 3.
Yeah.
And now that would have been fantastic. But now they're going to have the exact same thing. They're going to have Dylan Cease and Yu Darvish ready to go in if there is a possible game 5 there. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on to it. But I like it. I'm very happy that you're saying that Yamamoto is our guy. We're going to go get 2 games out of him.
Yeah, 100%. Now, looking on the other side, yes, they do get to throw Cease in game 1, Darvish in game 2. Not a surprise. I mean, I know that Darvish was in the bullpen for this first series, and I guess if they needed him, they could have brought him in if they needed him to start or whatever. Now he gets to start game 2. The question, though, becomes for the Padres now. Joe Musgrove left that second game with right elbow tightness, and Dodger fans know sort of what that potentially means. Usually, it's not a good thing. Look, I am not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV, but that suggests that they are not going to have Joe Musgrove probably for this series, maybe for their remainder of the stay in the playoffs. That's a big chunk. And I know we've talked about the fact that he's never beaten the Dodgers, but regardless, that's a big arm that you take out of that rotation. That's a guy that they were counting on for big things, and now he looks like he's not going to be available to them.
He doesn't. And we had Dr. Clapper. Hey, how are you? He was on with us on Sedano and Cap yesterday, and he was saying that, and by the way, keep black coat, black shoes, gray hair, Cadillac, and Rancid. Keep that comment. Don't put it up just yet, but I want to go back to that comment, Parker. He was saying that he has bone spurs in his elbow, and those don't just pop up out of nowhere. That's something that he had to have been dealing with throughout the season and was dealing with throughout the season. So he doesn't like what's going on with that. That he's saying that by having those, that he's in trouble of being out for the rest of this season, for the rest of these playoffs. And he said the same thing is happening in Clayton Kershaw's toe, and that's why he's not able to get out of those situations. He's maybe not going to be available for this, and probably doesn't look like he's going to be available for the Dodgers and those bone spurs. And he's not able to straighten it because of those bone spurs, and that's what is he used a whole analogy, and it was something about like brownies and a window and how you lock the window. There was a whole bunch of things that were going on, and it was fantastic. but yeah, so that's a huge thing for them. Hey, can we put the Rancid comment back up? By the way, we all know Rancid, right? Black coat, white, black shoe. It's actually black coat, white shoes, red hat, Cadillac. But either way, Yamamoto has thrown 72, 79, and 71 pitches in his last 3 games. How far will he go in game 1 and game 5? I'm assuming what those ... is. So I don't know how you feel about that, Marcus, but I believe that they were and I know he only pitched 79. 79 was the most that he's gone to, but they were trying to lengthen him. They were trying to get his pitch count up every single game. He went to 79 and 71, but I think they believe that he can get up to 90 or even close to 100 pitches off of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's got the ability, and I think they'll give him the length to get around 100 pitches. I think that last game against the Rockies, he went out, he gave him 5 solid innings. At the point that he left, the Dodgers were up 8-2. That game had pretty much been decided at that point. So I'm just guessing, and this is purely a guess on my part, that they felt like, all right, we've seen enough for you today. Let's just pack it in. Let's get ready for the playoffs. So I think him going was at 71 or whatever it was in that game isn't necessarily indicative of what he could give them as length. I think that was just situational.
I'm totally with you. I think it was situational. I think that if he needs to, I think he's now built up enough that he can kind of go. Not enough, like he's not going to be throwing 110, 120 pitches or anything along those lines, but they will let him go. I think if he's not in high stress innings over and over and over again, I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's not about the pitch count. It's not about how many innings. It's going to be about what those innings are each like. So if he goes 30 pitches in the first inning and then he just flies through the rest and he's at, 80 through 5, they're going to let him go into the 6th inning. I feel like it's not. So I believe that they have an idea. It's about the high stress innings.
Yeah. I like what Carlos says, 6 innings at least. That's what I was saying with Clint Pasillas earlier in the week. 6 feels like the magic number, just because it's been so long since we have seen a Dodger starter go 6 innings in a playoff game. If they can get somebody through 6, I feel like if the Dodgers have a starter that goes 6 innings, they win. I really think that's,
Agreed.
That's a strong case there. I know it's really simple, but I really believe that, because as good as this bullpen is, I keep saying it over and over, you want to limit exposure to it. You don't want to have to run the same guys out 2-3 games in a row just because that gives the hitters an advantage. You have tired arms. You have pitchers that the hitters have seen multiple times and have a way to sort of read them a little bit more. So if you're talking about a situation where you're burning 3 arms and you're trying to get 9 outs to win a game versus, you go 4 innings and then you're looking at trying to get 15 outs or more, I think that works in the Dodgers' favor.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm totally with you on that. If it's 6 innings, I just feel like all of these for the Dodgers, if you get to the 6th inning, I feel like we win that game no matter what. I think that the bullpen will come in and just shove and get through it. On the other side, though, I don't feel the same way anymore about the Padres. I think if they have a starter, like let's say Michael King goes at 6 innings and he's shoving, I don't believe that their bullpen, which was supposed to be all the way at the top, I think the Dodgers can get to their bullpen. And they kind of showed that they can, and that Jason Adam kind of got lit up the other day. Robert Suarez, their closer, is not a guy that he's been super shaky down the stretch, and like he has really good stuff, but he's kind of a bit wild. He's giving up runs. The Dodgers would have won that game if not for a crazy triple play.
Right.
Like if you told me at any point that if Shohei Ohtani came up with anybody on in runners in scoring position with 2 outs, even if Rojas hit into a double play, he was gonna do something. He was gonna drive in a run or 2 right there. I fully believe that with everything. He was 12 for 13 at that point with runners in scoring position. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do. But I feel that way about the Dodgers. The Dodgers, I don't feel like that anymore with the Padres, and I think a lot of it because with how they played in that Padres series. I mean, you saw it. It was how they handled Dylan Cease and got him out after 5. How they got to Joe Musgrove in the 6th. Michael King was a little bit tough, but they let him get. They were chasing like crazy, and that's how Michael King works. If you chase him outside, he's got you. If you don't, he's going to walk a bunch of dudes, and you're going to be able to get to him. So I feel much better about than I did prior to that last series.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting too, the difference in approach facing Cease versus facing Musgrove, right? Because with Cease, they were very patient. They waited him out. They found pitches to hit and were able to kind of make some things happen. With Musgrove, and you talked about it at the time, they were a little bit more aggressive because he was attacking the strike zone. Like he was in and out, he was dotting pitches, and so you couldn't really afford to wait because all of a sudden you'd be down 0-2. So they were a lot more aggressive. Even though early they didn't score, you just got the feeling that they were having good swings. They were having competitive at bats. They were putting the ball in play, that eventually things were going to happen. And so they did. And so I think if they sort of go with that mindset again, that, hey, look, with C's, he's going to try to tease you. He's going to try and get you to chase. If you can stay patient, you can get some pitches to hit. And then obviously their history with Darvish, they've had some success against you, Darvish. So I think you just sort of keep that same approach with him that you have before. And I think there's a way to be successful. But really, just keep it close. And even if the Padres have a lead and you can get into that bullpen in the late innings, we've seen this Dodger offense come to life in innings 7, 8, and 9, which is not a thing we said early in the season, but it's a thing that happened in September. If that offense still shows up and those guys at the bottom of the lineup are just making things happen, then they should be in position to win all these games.
Yeah, totally with you. I think it's crazy to say that, especially with the way we started. And I love this comment from Hawaiian Kira that was up just a second ago, that it feels that it's appropriate for Yamamoto to pitch game 1 versus San Diego. Revenge, redemption for the first game of the season. I absolutely love that. Get a little bit of revenge there for Yamamoto. But at the beginning of the season, we thought, oh my God, the bottom of this lineup is just absolutely, it's nonsense. No, they cannot do a thing. They're going 0 for 9 every single game, and and that you can't do that. And I feel that's totally changed towards the end of the season. Now you feel much better about it with having guys like Edman and Lux and even Rojas, and when he's in there, and Muncie's batting 6th, or Will Smith is batting in the 6th spot. Like, those things change the bottom of your lineup, and then it lengthens it to get back to Shohei Ohtani, who, by the way, with Shohei Ohtani, as he goes, this Dodgers team is going to go. So if you can have multiple guys on base consistently for Shohei, it makes you feel even better.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm looking at at Yamamoto's game logs. I mean, he hasn't seen the Padres since April. He had that first game start, which obviously was a disaster. He goes just an inning. Then he sees them again mid-April. He goes 5 innings, gives up 3 runs on 4 hits, strikes out 6. So it hasn't been 2 great starts, but also it was a long time ago, man. Like, everything is vastly different between April and now. And so I'm just curious to see what he's going to do. I don't know about you. I feel like we'll get a pretty good sense in the first inning. How the breaking ball is moving, how he's attacking the zone, if he's getting chases, if he's getting swings and misses. I think the first few hitters will give us a pretty good clue about what his day is going to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If God, that's the last thing that you could absolutely. If Yamamoto cannot have the same type of outing, and it's a tough. We haven't talked about it too much, but it's a tough Padres lineup. Luis Arraez does not strike out, so don't expect him to strike out. And then it moves on to Tatis, who's been on fire recently. Depending on who they go to after that, it's Yerkes Profar, and then into Manny Machado. That team, and then Jackson Merrill, who had most of the big hits for them this season. It feels like if Yamamoto can get through that first 3 guys and just go 1, 2, 3, I'm going to feel really, really good about his outing just in general.
100%. And just in general, like, get Jake Cronenworth out. That's just a plea to everybody in Dodger Blue, because I said it before. He's on that list. He's on that Paul Goldschmidt, Christian Walker, Nolan Arenado list of guys who just, they're paying off the mortgage on the Dodgers, man. There's just ownage there. So if they can somehow keep Cronenworth down, I feel like that goes a long way in this series.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. And I saw on one of the comments was, will Gavin Lux started second base? Yes. Against righties, he will start at second base. And Dylan Cease is absolutely a righty. So at that point, he'll be starting anytime there's a righty. And he will not start against lefties. When there's a lefty in, he will go. It will probably be Kike playing at second. That's what my guess would be. And for the most part, I'm sure you agree with me. I don't know. Maybe you don't. Rojas, if he's healthy, at short, and Edman always in center.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the normal course of things. I'm curious about second base against lefties. Is it Kike? Is it Chris Taylor? Maybe it's Kike. I don't know. But they've got a couple of options there. But, yeah, we know that we're not going to see him against any left-handed pitcher. But at least games 1 and 2, for sure, we know we'll see him because, with Cease and Darvish being a couple of righties, we know Lux will be in the lineup.
Yeah, Michael King is a righty as well, right?
So, yeah, so I believe he's a right-hander.
Yes, he is a righty. What is Martin Perez, who would probably be I would assume would be the game 4 starter, and because he is a lefty, so you will probably not see him in game.
Yeah.
You will not be seeing him in Game 4 starting, but pinch hitter, that's just something that he can do as well. So that's the only one. That's interesting. Throwing 3 righties against this team. That's interesting.
Yeah, it sort of is. Although I guess when you think about it, like the left-handed hitters that are in the lineup are guys that are going to be in the lineup every day, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shohei, Freddie, Muncy, these guys are going to be in the lineup regardless. And Edmonds a switch hitter, so I guess there's no necessary advantage to throwing a lefty out there. You just you put out the best arms that you can and see what you got.
So one of my favorite things to do, especially before a playoff series, is batter versus pitcher. So you have Dylan Cease versus the Dodgers, and from what I see, he has overall for the entire team, they have a 231 batting average, a 714 slug with 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 10 walks, and 34 strikeouts. The guys that hit him, Kike Hernandez hits Dylan Cease very well. He's 5 of 12, 2 doubles, a home run, and 2 RBIs, but he has struck out twice. Let's see. Shohei is 4 for 15 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Pretty good. Gavin Lux, 3 for 5 with a double and 2 RBIs. Where's Mookie? Mookie is 2 for 9. Tommy Edman, 1 for 2, small sample size. Freddie Freeman, 3 for 9. So they tend to hit him pretty well. Teoscar does not. 1 for 11. Has not done very well against him at all. But James out. Everybody else is either 1 or 0 hits. But guys that you want them to hit. So I wonder what they're going to do then. So if Kike is somebody that's 5 for 12 against Dylan Cease, Teoscar, who we need in this lineup, is 1 for 11. Yeah, he's in the lineup. Where's Muncy? I think that could make a difference too. Muncy is 1 for 5 with a double and 2 RBIs. I don't think Kike is a guy that. So at that point, if he's 5 for 12,
do you put Kike at third base?
You put him in second. Gavin Lux is 3 for 5, so you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're just reserving Kike for a pinch hit situation if you needed to, because I don't see how you don't put Muncy at third and have Lux at second base. So Kike is kind of the odd man out right now.
Yeah, Kike is the odd man out, but honestly, don't get cute. I don't think right now is the time to get cute going off small sample sizes. I just feel like you put your best lineup out there every single night, no matter what, and whatever you can get out of it, you stick with what works. Don't get cute.
100%. This is not the time. Like you got here with this lineup. I know you had to mix and match over the course of the season, but you know what your strongest lineup is. You put that out there. You let these guys go out and roll. And look, obviously we haven't played one game yet, but I feel a different energy. I feel a different attitude. I think this team understands kind of what's happened the last couple of years. They understand the disappointment and the frustration. They understand the fan base is feeling it. But just watching them over those last couple of weeks, seeing the animation, seeing the excitement, right? Seeing Shohei firing up the dugout, it feels different than it has the last couple of Octobers.
Totally with you. It feels so much better. I don't normally feel good going into a playoff series, and I feel really, really good. That might come and bite me in the ass, but I don't care. I feel great. I'm super excited for the series. I think I really feel good about the Dodgers postseason run just in general. So tomorrow's the day. Parker, if you want to take us away, but come on, let's go Dodgers. It's time for beat those Padres. Love it.
Beat those gutty little Padres.
Gutty little Padres.
I saw a couple Padres fans in the chat, and I appreciate you being there going back and forth with us. That's what we want here on the Blue Review. Come on. But yes, like you said, Greg, tomorrow is the day. Depending on the outcome, depending on how crazy things get, maybe we'll have to do some sort of emergency IG live or something. So stay tuned. Maybe I'll be there on socials. But of course, we are here Monday for sure to react at 8:30 and 8 to 8:55 on the Blue Review. So you know where to be here on the YouTube, ESPN LA YouTube. Stay here today for Travis and DeMarco, and just across the whole day, stay in the chat. Appreciate you for being here. For LAX, for the Blue Review, I'm Parker Bell alongside Marcus Grant and Greg Bergman. Let's go Blue.
Let's go Blue.
Let's go Dodgers.